quiet Saturday in Tanzania shatters when a uniformed officer stares into a camera and says the unthinkable. Your nation is being stripped from the inside, and if it isn't stopped, the whole house falls. That was back on October 4th, 2025, and within hours, the clip raced through WhatsApp groups, TikTok duets, and Instagram reposts. Online, he's named as John Charles Tesha, a weapons instructor in the Air Force. And his message is blunt enough to crack glass. Was this real? Coordinated? A lone outburst? The only certainty is the blast radius. Suddenly, everyone is asking why now? And what's boiling under the lid? The video is widely shared on social platforms. Verification by major outlets remains limited. To understand the tremor, you have to step back. In 2021, President John Magufuli dies after weeks of absence. 2 days later, Samia Suluhu Hassan, then vice president, takes the oath, becoming Tanzania's first female head of state. Early moves look promising. Some media bans eased, a few political prisoners released, COVID acknowledged. It feels like clean air after a long, heavy season. But transitions don't happen in a vacuum. Power in Tanzania has worn the same jersey for decades. CCM has dominated elections and parliament since the late 1970s, and institutions harden around long-running power. That kind of longevity shapes what's possible and what's not, no matter who holds the pen. Then the tone shifts. By late 2024, something colder settles in. A 30-day blackout hits the online platforms of Mwananchi Communications, publisher of The Citizen, after it posts an animated video referencing families of the disappeared. Regulators say the clip threatens national unity and social peace. Critics call it censorship dressed up as order. Either way, the signal to journalists is unmistakable. Step carefully. But the bigger fear isn't a suspension, it's a silence. Tanzania's Tanganyika Law Society tallies 83 people missing under murky circumstances as of August 9, 2024. Amnesty International and others repeat that number heading into the 2025 campaign season, warning of abductions, ill treatment, and killings of activists. The state disputes aspects of those claims, but the atmosphere is already altered. People lower their voices, timelines grow cautious. Then a single story cuts through the fog. Ali Mohammed Kibao, a senior Chadema official, vanishes in early September 2024. Witnesses say men pulled him from a bus in daylight. 2 days later, his body is found. Reports describe severe beating and acid burns to his face. The president orders an investigation. The opposition demands a judicial commission. Shock ripples outward. For many, this isn't a headline. It's confirmation of what they've been whispering. After Kibao, fewer people are willing to stick their necks out. Fear isn't theoretical anymore. It has a name. If there's one figure the ruling class keeps tripping over, it's Tundu Lissu. In 2017, he survives a hail of bullets, 16 shots, then spends years recovering. He returns, rebuilds his base, and in April 2025, he's arrested and charged with treason after pushing for electoral reforms at a rally. Treason in Tanzania can carry the death penalty. Rights groups and lawmakers outside the country call foul. European resolutions point to due process concerns. Lawyers from around the region try to observe. Trial dates appear, then move. Hearings open, then shift. Whether you support him or not, the optics are stark. A leading opposition figure faces the harshest charge in the book in an election year. The pressure doesn't just live inside courtrooms. In 2025, arrests of multiple Chadema officials make headlines. And one moment at the Kenya-Tanzania border becomes a short, sharp lesson in attention economics. A senior opposition figure is stopped. A phone records. A crowd gathers. The standoff ends in hours. No grand speech needed. Just bodies, cameras, and the knowledge that someone, somewhere, is watching. In a country where many believe speaking out carries a price, that small reversal lands like a drumbeat. Visibility matters. By October 29, 2025, voting day arrives. Tanzania's reputation for stability is still there, but so are the bans, the arrests, the ambient fear. Outlets covering the polls repeat the TLS figure. 83 abductions confirmed, 8 since the current president took office, with more alleged in the weeks before the vote. It's not the economy pulling people into the street. Growth numbers had been decent. It's something closer to trust, or the loss of it, and whether the rules still apply the same way to everyone. So when that uniformed man appears on screen and calls out a deep state, people don't just hear one voice. They hear an echo of the last 2 years. He lists scandals that Tanzanians have argued about for ages. He urges the military to step in. But here's the crucial thing: beyond the shock value, mainstream reporters haven't fully verified the man's claims or the chain of custody for the video. What is verifiable is the environment in which the clip lands, media squeezes, opposition pressure, and a trail of human rights alarms that made people ready to believe. Viral certainty meets institutional opacity, and that is a recipe for rumors to travel faster than corrections. Treat the clip as viral and disputed. Don't overclaim. Younger Tanzanians are fluent in a new language: screenshots, live-stream timestamps, crowdsourced fact checks, and burner accounts. They've seen what visibility can do, even in small bursts. They've also watched families beg for answers about sons, daughters, and colleagues who left the house and didn't come back. When authorities suspend a newsroom's online platforms, it feels like someone turning down the dimmer switch on the only room where people still talk freely. That combination, fear plus platforms, is why a single weekend video can explode across borders before any official can blink. Amnesty and other groups say the climate heading into the election looked like a climate of fear, with enforced disappearances, torture, and killings alleged. Government voices reject the broad strokes, pushing back on the methodology and framing, and defending regulatory actions as necessary for peace. Between those poles, ordinary people live with practical trade-offs: how loudly to post, whether to attend a rally, how much to trust a promise when the costs of being wrong feel permanent. Tanzania's story has always had a unique undertone: a reputation for stability while neighbors endured military takeovers. That's why this cycle shocks people. If the nation known for calm is now battling claims of disappearances and treason trials against its leading opponent, what's left of the old consensus? If stability becomes silence, is it still stability or just stillness? Strip away the headlines, and you get a set of human questions. How do you explain to a mother that her son is under investigation when nobody will admit they have him? How do you convince a skeptical youth voter to play by the rules if the field never looks level? And how does a country keep faith with its founding ideals when the institutions that carry those ideals feel distant? In the end, no single officer, no single clip, no single court hearing defines a democracy. What defines it is pattern: how the media is treated, how critics are handled, how investigations are run, how elections are held. Tanzania stands at the intersection of memory and momentum, a long history of order rubbing against a present thick with doubt. You don't fix that with a louder slogan. You fix it by answering the hard questions in daylight. For 60 years, Tanzania wore the badge of the country that kept its cool. Maybe that's still true. Maybe it isn't. But this much is clear: history won't grade leaders by their slogans, or their gender, or their hashtags. It will ask one simple thing: what did you do with power when people needed you to protect the rules? If the answer is openness and accountability, the country breathes easier. If the answer is fear and silence, the room gets dark. And when the room gets dark, rumors shine brighter than truth. Until there's light, the questions won't stop, and neither will the cameras.